think he's been able to do that so far in this one?
Well, this has to do with that three-man front. Remember, two guys are pretty much getting double-teamed every play. You got one breaking free, and that one is getting pressure almost every time, getting hands on Schreiber. Schreiber breaks the tackle. You got your two other guys. They're not getting any pressure. He's able to escape the pocket and find the open guys. And once he escapes the pocket, the receivers know that scramble drill. It makes it so much harder for these corners and safeties to keep up with them. You know, as a corner and safety, you're told a play only lasts about 3 to 4 seconds, right? But when the quarterback scrambles out that for that long, that's a long time to cover your wide receiver.
I think we got to give some credit to Schreiber and those wide receivers being able to execute that scramble drill at such a high rate so far in this game.
Absolutely. Schreiber's not been easy to take down.
Schreiber all alone in the backfield here again. He's looking for just a short play here on the right side. He's going to complete it. Not much after that.
Yeah, it looks like he might have caught it with a knee down, unless the refs think that he got it up before, I guess. Get a couple extra yards. Just a simple button hook, five-yard hook route right in the middle.
Now 2nd and 5. Sorry, 2nd and 4 here for the Lions. And they've been empty set almost exclusively on this drive. In motion now, and he's going to find wide open Aston. And if that's a better throw, he's probably walking into the end zone.
Yeah, well, that was a designed safety blitz. That was Strohmeyer, number 0, coming in on the blitz on Schreiber, gets his hands up. That's what leaves Aston open, but that's also what made the throw a little behind him and making him go down to get it. Does put the Lions in good position. 1st and goal from the 6-yard line.
It looks like a little wildcat with Aston in the backfield. Napier's also with him. They're just going to snap it to him, and he's going to try to waltz into the end zone here. Brought down with about 2 yards to go until they reach pay dirt.
I don't know if you saw that, but that was a bad snap. A one-handed catch from Aston with the right hand. Takes it out to the right. Gets a block from the receiver. Picks up a few yards on that play.
Now a timeout for Mount St. Joseph. It's been a really tightly contested first half here so far. You know, what do you think is going to be the difference here in the second half?
Ooh, I think it's going to be those 4th down conversions for the Muskies. That's been their weakness right now. Again, their first touchdown came on a 4th down conversion from about the 2-yard line, but 3 missed 4th down conversions a little bit into Mount St. Joseph's zone territory, giving Mount St. Joseph good field position for their drives, which have set them up for for more points.
Now I also think maybe containing Schreiber a little bit is going to be big here in the second half. We'll surely talk more about that at halftime. I'm sure a stand here at the goal line would surely help moving into halftime,
Absolutely,
giving them some momentum.
Absolutely, that would give the Muskies a lot of momentum. And remember, the Lions get the kickoff in the second half because the Muskies elected to receive after winning the coin flip.
Schreiber now is going to get the snap and just hand it off here to Napier, and he's going to be stuffed again. Stifling run defense.
Yeah, and that's a loss of about 2 or 3 yards there. Great run defense. As we've mentioned before, they just can't get anything on the ground going. These linemen and linebackers are just making plays in the ground game.
Interested to see now what Mount St. Joseph is going to do with just about 20 seconds left in this game. And will they play it conservative and kick a field goal if they don't get it here? Looking into the end zone, and it's caught, and it's going to be a touchdown for Mount St. Joseph.
And I believe that's Hunkus right there. Little out route, gets a step on the DB. That's a tough throw for a quarterback, but Schreiber able to place it right in the breadbasket where the DB can't get it. It's a great play by the Lions.
Michael Hunkus went to Hilliard Bradley, Hilliard, Ohio. He's had a good game so far.
That's the 2nd touchdown of the game.
And the field goal, or not the field goal, the extra point, is good for Spencer. making it a 2-possession game here for the Muskies. Tough break to give up a touchdown right before the half.
Yeah, well, we'll see on the kickoff. They might squib it to get the time gone, but if Gore can get his hands on the ball, you never know what can happen in these last 9 seconds on the kickoff.
And you'd think that, with just sharpening up a couple more things, I think the Muskies have a good chance to build some momentum starting out in the second half here.
Absolutely, and I think it starts with the defense. The offense has been on, besides the aggressiveness going for it on 4th down, but I think it starts with that, with the defense and containing Schreiber, keeping him in the pocket, not letting him make plays with his legs outside of the pocket.
With just 9 seconds to go here, we'll see if the Muskies can pull off some kind of miracle here at the end of the first half.
Yeah, it's Gore and Woody back there again. Gore on the right side like he was last time, unlike the first 2.
They're going to squib it, but it will make its way back to Gore. Took a while for him to pick it up, and now he's just going to try to make something happen here on his own end. Still hasn't been brought down, but now there's a flag on the play. He's going to be brought down anyways here, and that'll end the half.
Yeah, that was a good return, but once you start going every which way, the blockers tend to get holding penalties as the defense keeps switching sides trying to get around them. But again, good return by Gore. He's very good at improvising, getting around to the outside. He looks for those sidelines, trying to get to the outside of the field.
There are 2 blocks in the back on the play, both on the return team. Those penalties are declined, the half is over.
And just as we expected, 2 return team penalties there. It's 23-14. Mount St. Joe responds very well to a stifling offense from the Muskies initially with some 4th down stops. We'll be right back here for the halftime show on the Muskie Sports Network, brought to you by Flo Sports. We are back here on the Muskie Sports Network, brought to you by Flow Sports. A tightly contested first half for like 3/4 of that first half. It got away from the Muskies a little bit here with Mount St. Joe, just executing a little better in certain areas. Schreiber extending plays was a big thing that we talked about over the break.
Yeah, absolutely. Him being able to get out of the pocket, a testament to his toughness, breaking tackles to get there most of the time. You see this Muskie 3 down front. You get one person coming free, getting hands on Schreiber. They overrun him. He breaks the tackle, gets outside. That creates confusion for the DBs. Wide receivers get open, and that's where the plays are made. And that's been, I think, the biggest thing for this Lions offense.
We talked about Eli Aston with this Lions offense, but how about Michael Hunkus? We've seen him quite a bit making plays, 2 touchdowns in that first half, including the one where he had that really nice juke move waltzing into the end zone there. How do you think the Muskies are going to stop him in the second half?
Well, it's difficult when you want to double team Aston and he's still making plays being double teamed, and then you get Hunkus one-on-one also making plays. It makes it very difficult for this defense. And these DBs, they're playing pretty well. They've had some avoidable penalties in there. You got some defensive pass interferences. You had a great defensive play by Antoine Murphy, but he followed it up with a taunting or unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Avoidable penalties. If they can get rid of that, play clean. They're not playing too bad. They're covering very well. Just need to get their hands up to the ball, not on the guy, and I think that can turn the tides.
We mentioned those avoidable penalties. Offensively, it was pretty clean for the Muskies for the most part. On the defense, it's been a bit of a different story. How do you think they can sharpen up and not commit so many of those penalties?
I think it's the matter of the DBs keeping their hands off, not grabbing jerseys. They're in good positions on most of those big plays. They just need to get their hands up, get their heads turned to the ball, and try and make a play on the ball, not the man.
They also had some unfortunate calls that didn't necessarily go their way when they could have went either way. It's just part of the game. Another thing that I want to talk about is some of the missed execution on 3rd and 4th down on both sides of the ball for Muskingum. We missed a couple 4th downs on offense. We gave up a couple 3rd downs for the Lions. How can we be better in those golden downs is what Matt Nardo says.
Yeah, those golden downs are very important, especially those 4th downs on offense. We keep going back to it. That first touchdown for the Muskies on their second possession was on 4th down, kind of gave them a boost of confidence, went for it on 4th down on their first drive, didn't get it. Good positioning for the Lions. Muskies fortunately got a pick, ended up getting the ball back, but then they go for it 2 more times on 4th down after they score that touchdown, and they don't get it, giving the Lions good field position, and they were able to convert. I think that's been the story of the game. Being aggressive, we've heard Coach Nardo all week talking about being aggressive. Well, that's good. It's also good to pin them deep sometimes, get them in bad field position, and then get yourself good field position after. It's a difficult spot Coach Nardo's in because it pays off. It looks amazing. It looks great on him. It doesn't. Then you get what's happening now, down 2 possessions for the Muskies. Defensively, they haven't played 3rd downs too bad. We saw them get a really good stop, but refs called a pass interference on the defense. Little questionable maybe, but again, staying clean with the penalties and then just sticking to your assignments on defense on 3rd down. Do what you're taught. Don't try and do anything special. D-line needs to get to the quarterback. They need to break down in front of him. They're overrunning him, just getting a hand on him sometimes, and that's why Schreiber's able to get out of the pocket. If we can avoid that on 3rd downs, I think we'll be in a much better position.
Murphy also had that unsportsmanlike conduct after that 3rd down stop there at the goal line. Ended up being a touchdown for the Lions. Just a couple of things to clean up, and I think the Muskies will be in good shape here at the Bullock Health and Wellness Complex. We will be right back after a couple commercials here for the rest of this halftime show. We look forward to seeing the second half here, seeing if the Muskies can bounce back on the Muskie Sports Network, brought to you by Flow Sports. We are back here anticipating the second half at the Bullock Health and Wellness Complex. You know, the stats really tell the tale for the first half. 228 passing yards for Mount St. Joseph, 224 total yards. Really just showcases what they've done offensively. -4 yards on the ground. The Muskies are going to have to try to clean up in their pass defense to slow them down. And then Muskingum's pretty much the polar opposite, 117 yards on the ground. Gurney added 39, and then Woody has had a great showcasing so far with 76 yards, 13 carries. So it's been really the tale of two tapes for the offense. Rushing for Muskingum, passing for Mount St. Joseph. What are the Muskies going to have to do here to slow down the passing game in the second half?
Absolutely, Wyatt. And again, I think it just goes back to simple sticking to your assignment. I know Aston, when there's two guys on him, quarterback thinks he's open because he's been making the plays. You stick to your assignment. You play your base defense. Get your hands up on the ball. Turn your heads. Those penalties, got to avoid those. Stick to your man. They look like they've been playing a decent amount of a mix of man and zone coverage. Just they need to be smart, keep their guys in front of them, really just limit those deep ball opportunities that they've been able to get. The Lions have had a lot of deep ball success today. The Muskies need to stop that. And then offensively for the Muskies, if they can get that pass game going, I think they'll be set. The run game is going very well to Woody. Gurney being able to take some himself, unfortunately having that one fumble when it looked like he was going to take off. But they're able to get that pass game going, maybe spread the ball around, get the ball to Gore more on offense. That NIU transfer wide receiver number 6, I think that could be the road to success for this Muskie offense.
Gurney 6 for 13 for 85 yards in the first half. Gore just 2 receptions, but they were pretty explosive receptions with 40 yards in that first half. And then it was Zeros as well with 2 receptions for 43 yards. You know, they have done a good job. Mount St. Joseph has done a good job of slowing down the passing offense of the Muskies. We'll see if they made adjustments and can get it going here in the second half. Is almost on its way.
And remember, the Muskies won the coin toss, elected to receive in the first half. So now they're kicking off to the Lions, who already have a 2-possession lead. Let's hope we can get a quick defensive stop and get that ball back.
The kick is on its way. It's going to be brought out by the 2-touchdown first half. Wide receiver, that's Michael Hunkus.
It brings it out past the 25-yard line. It's a great tackle by the kickoff team. Didn't see who that was, but getting low, flipping him over, only letting him get a little bit past the 25-yard line.
Now we will see how this Muskie defense fares against Schreiber, who's really been able to create.
Yeah, let's see if they made any coaching adjustments, personnel adjustments. They might rush 4 more this half. Looks like they're in a 3-down front again.
Ball is snapped. It's going to be a handoff and a nice spin move there. Muskie's still able to group tackle and bring him down. That was De La Cruz.
Yeah, and that looks like it was a gain of 3. Good run, good spin move. Would have been stopped right at the line. Lions still in negative rushing yard territory. Hoping to crawl out of that. Maybe let one loose for a big gain.
Yeah, 1 more yard to go to get out of the negative territory. Second down. They bring the wide receiver in motion. Another wide receiver in motion here. It's going to be a pass and out to the right. Schreiber goes again. Looking to create, go downfield. No one's there, and he's just going to have to get rid of it out to the right. He was looking downfield for Pittman, but he fell over.
Yeah, it looked like Aston might have been open in the middle there, waiting for the ball, sitting there with his hands out. Didn't look like Schreiber saw him. Then also to note, before the ball was snapped, you saw the tight end LaFrange go from attached to the line out. He never got set, and they motioned another wide receiver. LaFrange was just hopping back there, never set his feet and stopped. It's an interesting no call there.
3rd down and 7. Now for the Lions. It's another pass. He's going to look to the sideline. Way over his head there. That was Hunkus, the intended receiver, and a 3-and-out here for the Muskie defense.
Great defense by the Muskies there. Looked like it might have been a little miscommunication, maybe just a bad ball. You could see the safety number 0, Strohmeyer. He was ready to lay out Hunkus if he got that ball. Smart to pull up and not hit him. Again, those are those avoidable penalties that they just avoided, and now they're getting the ball back, hopefully with good field position.
Showing good discipline there for sure. And now just the second punt of the game. And it's a pretty good one. It's going to bounce out to the 15, even rolling still. What a punt down to the 10-yard line for Mount St. Joe, pinning the Muskies back deep.
Wow, now that was a low snap, too. The punter had to go down and get that off the ground. Who was that returner? Was that Searles? He was back there calling for it to, no, everyone get away, get away. Landed at about the 25 or 30, bounced down to the 10. Just a good roll for the Lions there. Unfortunate for the Muskies.
One of those low punts that just kept running. And this is going to be a handoff here for Woody. And yet again, just gaining 3 to 4 yards. It was effective in the first half. Effective again on that play.
Absolutely. And it's that patience behind the line for Woody. Almost like Le'Veon Bell, he gets the ball, he doesn't sit there, he inches up, he waits for that hole to open, and he explodes right through it. That explosiveness is what's getting him through those tackles.
He's yet to be tackled behind the line of scrimmage in this game. This one's going to be a pass for Gurney. He's looking out to the left side, and that one's just short. Unable to complete the pass there.
Yeah, it's just a quick out route, seeing if they can get the ball around, get the ball successfully caught from Gurney. But those out routes are tough for quarterbacks. Unfortunately, just misses the man a little short on that one. Leaves for a 3rd and 6.
It was Cade Searles out there in the flat running that out route. Third down and 6. Gurney looking over the middle. That one's high, but caught by J.C. Gore there. They're looking to get him involved in the second half, I'm sure.
There we go. Perfect. Little stick route, sit in the middle, find that open zone. Gore does exactly that, goes up, gets the ball, first down. Let's see if the Muskies can get some tempo, which is what was working for them in that first quarter earlier in the game. See if they can build up that tempo and get a good drive.
And a nice job to get out of their own end zone as well. Here's Woody with another carry. He's going to try to power his way forward. He's going to be stopped at about the line of scrimmage.
And that might have been Woody's first run where we haven't seen him hit a hole very explosively. It didn't seem like there was much there. Lucky to just be stopped at the line of scrimmage and not behind.
You can see just how strong he is, too. It's typically taken 2 to 3 defenders to bring him down.
Yeah, exactly.
Gurney drops back to throw. Looking to that left side again. That one's caught at the sideline. Nice play there on the end.
And that was Gore again, I believe.
Already just as many catches in this second half as he had in the first.
Looks like he's limping off a little bit. That's not good for the Muskies. He called himself off.
We hope that everything's okay there. 3rd and short here for the Muskies. So these money downs we were talking about, and it looks like it's going to be a false start.
And there are these avoidable penalties. We didn't actually really see any of these from the offense in the first half, but you get into a 3rd and short like that, 5-yard penalty, it makes it so much harder to convert on this 3rd down.
You know, we talked about how crucial these 3rd and 4th downs are going to be for Muskingum. They're going to have to sharpen that up if they want to fight back into this game.
Absolutely. Now with Gore on the sideline, you would expect a pass. Let's see if Gurney's able to spread that ball out to someone.
3rd and 7 now on their own side of the red zone. Gurney drops back to throw. No one open. He's going to try to scramble for it. Breaks a tackle, but there's too many. They bring him down, and it's going to be 4th and about 2. Gets close to that first down. Wasn't quite able to get it.
That was a good gain. That was a good gain out of nothing there. Almost getting taken down in the backfield by Gurney. Picks up 6, leaves us with a 4th and 1. I think this is smart call by Coach Nardo for the Muskies' first punt of the game.
This is going to be Ortega back there punting as well. doing both the punting and kicking and kickoffs for the Muskies. It's a high snap, had to adjust to it. Nice play. Able to get it out past the 40 of Mount St. Joe. Nice play there. It could have been really disastrous on the snap.
Yeah, thank goodness the blocks held up. Ortega had to take extra time to go up and get that ball and get it off in time. Unfortunately, good field position again for the Lions at their own 40-yard line.
First and 10, Mount St. Joseph.
Muskie defense forced Mount St. Joe to a 3-and-out the first time. Mount St. Joe turns right around and does it again. Schreiber looking to throw, again going out to that right side, and he finds Aston wide open down the field, and he's making a move out to about the 27, those big plays where he's extending out to that right side again.
Yeah, this is exactly what we were talking about at halftime. Schreiber extends the play, avoids the sacks, breaks those tackles, gets to the outside. The DB's minds don't know what's going on. Those wide receivers, especially Aston, being as good and as smart and as aware as he is, he finds that open space, and Schreiber's able to deliver a good ball to him.
And that was one of the first times we've seen a wide open wide receiver in the secondary. There wasn't anyone within 10 yards of Aston there. First and 10 here for Mount St. Joe as they respot the ball. This one's going to be a run to Frazier here, and he's going to pick up about 6 yards there. Nice run for Mount St. Joe, something we haven't seen a lot in this game.
Yeah, I think that might have been their longest run of the night. Picking up about 5 yards makes for a very manageable next 2 downs here. Try and get the first.
Schreiber again trying to extend the play. He's just going to loft one up here to the sideline. He's fortunate that one wasn't intercepted.
Yeah, it seemed like he was just trying to throw that one away. Very good coverage. See how when those defensive ends keep Schreiber in the pocket, it forces him to make throws like that. That's exactly what we need to see, and we need to see more of that in order to not have those scramble plays and wide open receivers, because that was really good coverage by those DBs.
Definitely contained Schreiber a lot better on that play. Something you hope to see Muskingum do. Big third down here for Mount St. Joe. If the Muskies can get a stop here, it'll build some momentum for him. Low snap. Trying to find someone over the middle, and it's caught, and that's going to be a first down.
Man, that's a great play. Schreiber throwing across his body into the middle of the field. Always a dangerous throw, but when you're as accurate as Schreiber has been today, it just works for you, and you pick up that first down.
That's Patrick Connor, the senior wide receiver from Kettering, Ohio. First and 10 in the red zone here for Mount St. Joe. It's another pass. Just going to dump it off here to the right side. That's Connor again.
Yeah, Schreiber started to roll out right. Notice he had that open receiver. It was a little smash concept. Little 5-yard hook on the outside with a little fade corner route to Aston. He was looking at Aston at first, wanted to get him the ball in the end zone, realized that was covered, took his check down for a gain of 4.
It's been a pretty balanced attack in the passing game for Mount St. Joseph. A lot of wide receivers getting involved here. This one's going to be another pass. This time he's blitzed, and he's just going to have to get rid of it on the sideline. Muskies brought 5 that time.
Yeah, that was a very creative blitz by the Muskies. Noticing that that trio of receivers on the left side was very wide, brought the linebackers into the middle, created enough pressure to have Schreiber get rid of the ball and throw it away to create a longer third down than they're used to.
The last couple times he's extended the play, we've seen that right side be a little less open, making it a little more difficult for Schreiber.
Exactly, and I think that was one of the coach's points at halftime. I would not be surprised if they drilled that into their defensive end's head and said, don't let him get outside. Your job is to contain.
Empty set here for Schreiber. He's pressured again. This time they almost got to him. He's just going to throw it at the end zone. Brought down at the 1. What a play there. And that's Hunkus again.
Man, what a catch from Hunkus. I mean, he was blanketed, went up strong hands, held on to the ball going down. Schreiber able to throw it while getting hit really hard. He tried to escape. Muskies contained him with that blitz, hit him, but just a beautiful throw and an amazing catch. Really strong hands from Hunkus, which we've seen multiple times today.
And there's only so much you can do with Hunkus. He's 6'3", wide frame, really athletic. He's tough to guard. It's going to be a handoff to Frazier, and he's going to pound his way in for a Mount St. Joe touchdown.
That was a good run there from Napier. Able to avoid a tackle back in the backfield. Cuts it up. Just an easy 1-yard run into the end zone. This is a great drive by Mount St. Joseph. They had more of a mix that drive with runs and passes. But again, Schreiber just making plays.
And the kick is up and good from the freshman from Commercial Point, Ohio.
You know, if you're just tuning in, or you might have missed the first drive from Mount St. Joseph, you wouldn't believe it, but Schreiber actually threw an interception. In the play before that, he almost threw another one. You would not expect that watching him since then. He has been phenomenal. You would not think this is his first starting game in college. He looks like a seasoned veteran out there.
He has looked really poised for Mount St. Joseph. You know, and there were times last year where, you know, he went into the game. You know, he was really big in that Hiram win last season, was able to step in and throw a couple touchdowns, threw 105 yards off the bench. They were able to win that game.
Yeah, he did have 6 appearances last year, so 6 different games he saw action. Never threw an interception, had a completion percentage of almost over 60%, I believe, 320 yards and 3 touchdowns, and that was all off the bench last season. Seems like that experience has been boosting him to a great game tonight.
Gore is going to take another one from about the 5 to 10, this time brought down before the 25. And it seems like the kickoff team from Mount St. Joseph is getting better as this game goes along.
Yeah, not really many options on where to go there for Gore. Looks like he might be hurting a little bit. Got hit pretty hard. But yeah, that was a great job closing in on the ball by this Mount St. Joseph kickoff team.
Now we'll see what Muskingum can do here on offense with their back up against the wall. About halfway through this third quarter here. It's a handoff here to Woody again. He's going to pick up a couple yards. Looks like the ball's on the ground. Mount St. Joe thinks they have it. Still no call by the referees. Still fighting for it on the ground.
Muskingum saying that they have it. No call from the referees still.
And that's going to be Muskie ball. Maybe. I think they're still talking it over. They motioned momentarily.
Yeah, watching the replay here, Woody got popped. It was the run was away from us, so hard to tell behind all of those big offensive and defensive linemen. It appears as if Muskingum came up with that football, though.
Yeah, the line judge just announced it's Muskingum ball. Fortunate break there. That could have been a turn for the worst on their own 20. Now it's a keeper here for Gurney. He's just going to power forward for about a yard. The run defense has been a lot better for Mount St. Joseph in the second half.
Yeah, and that was another designed run to Gurney, which worked really well in the first half, especially that first quarter. But these linebackers and safeties are flying up to it. They're noticing when it's going to happen, and they're making plays when they need to at the line of scrimmage, making a long third down for the Muskies yet again.
Third and 8 here. Gurney drops back. It's going to be a draw play. This time Mount St. Joseph is all over it.
Yeah, just about to pick up a 5 there for Gurney I think Mount St. Joseph knew what was coming. That's third or fourth time this game that they've run a QB draw on 3rd and long. And now it's 4th and short again in their own territory, and the offense is still out on the field.
Really interested to see what they'll do here on 4th and 3.
I think the defense is expecting the draw. Safety, it's number 7 on the defense, Brady Pierce. He's playing up like a linebacker.
Pass. They're going long here on the sideline. Incomplete, and that's going to be a turnover on downs in their own territory.
And that was just a go route to Searles, thrown a little outside. Tough, that's a tough catch. Tried to come down with it one-handed, couldn't grab it. Now Mount St. Joseph has the ball in Muskie territory on about the 30-yard line. And that's the, I think, fourth missed 4th down conversion for the Muskies this game.
They've been really aggressive in this one. Something you like to see, just haven't quite been able to execute. Now Schreiber to throw, but he's going to scramble. Flag on the play. He's going to have the first down, but we'll see here.
Yeah, that's a good run from Schreiber, but the reason he had so much time to do it was the hold on the offensive line. Thomas cut inside of the tackle. Seems like he got held by both the left tackle and left guard, drawing the penalty. It's setting the Lions back 10 yards. And I believe that's the first holding call on this offensive line. From up here, it looks like there could have been a few others in the first half, but glad to get one to finally go our way and set the Lions behind the chains to start this drive.
One of the first times we've seen those calls benefit Muskingum here in this game. Mount St. Joseph has played a pretty clean game to start. Another pass here, and he's looking over the middle of the field. It's high and intercepted. That's Malik Pegram making the interception on the play. Maybe some more momentum now for Muskingum.
Yeah, and Schreiber had the receiver open. That was Kamari Pittman, and just overthrew him right into the hands of the Muskie defender, Malik Pegram.
And he's had a pretty good game. One of his first major starts here for the Muskies, now coming up with a big play that might be able to get them back in it.
Yeah, this could get the ball rolling for the Muskies. Get the tide going. Hopefully deep back in their territory again. 3rd time's the charm in the half.
Now it's the keeper for Garrett on the read option. Nice play there, pick up about 6.
Yeah, that was a good read there by Gurney. Able to get the edge on that left side, cut it up the field for 6 yards. Maybe they can get some tempo going, tire out this defense, and make some big plays.
Little bit of up-tempo now for Muskingum, something we haven't seen as much throughout late second quarter. It's going to be a run for Woody. Not much room. He's going to have to cut back. Stone wall by Mount St. Joseph.
Yeah, the Muskies really trying to pursue in the run game. It's not going as they planned, not like the first half. Woody is struggling to get past the line of scrimmage so far in this 3rd quarter. Looking like a passing down for the Muskies here. Remember, we have Gore, who's made plays today. I would trust him again.
Gurney looking downfield. He finds Gore. You said it. Nice pickup of about 20, and now the Muskies are in business.
And there it is. That's a classic Madden play. They were in squeeze formation. Two guys on each side, bench, quick out routes by the outer guys, and corner routes by the inner guys, and Gore's able to get open on the outside there.
Up tempo here, they're going to throw another screen to Gore. He's just trying to get some room, gain some yards, and he does. Gain of about 2 on the screen play. They're going to keep the clock rolling.
That's just a quick screen where you could try and catch the Lions off guard there. Doesn't really work too well. You do get a good block from the receiver out there. I believe that was Searles, but only able to pick up about a yard or 2 there.
Back-to-back passes now for the Muskies, something we haven't seen just a lot in this game. There's Woody now bulldozing his way for about 4 yards. That'll bring up a 3rd and about 4.
Yeah, and there's that explosiveness from Woody that we've been missing in this third quarter. Able to push through for 4 yards and needing 3 or 4 Lion defenders to come and get him.
Big third down here. You know, I can imagine this is 2-down territory with the way they've played thus far.
Yeah, you would imagine if they don't get this, they're going for it on 4th down. They need a spark here.
There's Gurney finding another wide receiver. Oh, what a spin move there by Gore. And he's really starting to get it going on this drive.
Yeah, again, that was just another button hook, letting Gore find the open space. I believe that they're not telling him to go to a certain spot. They're telling him, go to where you get open and Gurney will find you. That's the second time they've done that on 3rd down for him in this third quarter, and it works.
Gore trying to catch a breather. Max Tarnowski now into the game for the Muskies. 3 wide receivers set on the 50, 1st and 10. It's going to be a keeper for Gurney, cuts it back. A little bit of an awkward fall there. Glad to see him pop back up.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of a busted play. It was a read option. I think Gurney kept it, was supposed to go up the right side, realized maybe the wrong read, follows Woody up through the left side. That's a good pickup of 4 for a busted play.
Now Woody in motion. He's gotten the ball quite a bit today, and he's going to get it again on the screen pass. Nice play there.
Yeah, and that's difficult there as a wide receiver and a tight end. You could see the tight end, 87, Grant Wright out there. Like, he wanted to block, but when the ball's in the air, you can't block. That's a pass interference. It's a tough situation. Just a gain of 2 there.
There's Austin Adams out there making the tackle. Gurney looking to throw again. He's going long here to a wide open Chris Singleton, and he's going to waltz into the end zone. Touchdown, Muskies.
Yeah, and that the Lions were showing zone. Last second came up into man coverage. I think Gurney saw that, realized he'd have a wide open receiver. That was a great little quick post route there from number 17, Chris Singleton, off the bench for a huge gain. Getting the ball rolling for the Muskies here in the second half. And they're little momentum gain.
They're going to try to go for 2 here to make it a 1-score possession. This is big here. If they can get this, they just are within 8 points, and it's a stop and another 2-point conversion after a touchdown. Trying to get everyone set here. 2 wide receivers out to the right.
I think this defense is expecting a QB draw.
Westrick in motion. QB draw it is, and he's going to be stopped. They won't get in. So just 6 points for the Muskies, down 10. Still plenty of time on the clock with 1.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. We will be back here on the Muskie Sports Network, brought to you by Flo Sports. Chris Singleton making the big play for the Muskie touchdown. If you're just now joining us, the junior who hasn't seen the field just a ton yet for the Muskies, coming up big, bringing them right back into this game here.
Unfortunately missing that 2-point conversion to bring it within 1 possession. Now down 10.
And this is going to be Hunkus again bringing it out. He finds a gap, bringing it out to about the 32. Man, he's been all over the place. A little bit of pushing and shoving here after the play.
Looks like we have maybe an injured Muskie able to get up on his own. It's good to see. I think that's Roebuck there. But no, Hunkus on these returns has been explosive. He doesn't waste any time back there. He gets the ball and makes his way upfield as fast as he can.
Now the Muskies have made it tougher on Schreiber here in this second half. It's been a little harder for him to create outside of the pocket. Be interested to see if they can do that again on this drive.
Yeah, and for the Muskies, number 21 cornerback Javon Tucker is in, who hasn't really seen the field much today. Maybe trying to switch things up.
This will be Frazier. He hasn't just had a lot of open space, but there he waltzes to about a gain of 8. Just hasn't seen a whole lot of green grass in front of him in this game.
Yeah, that's the longest run play from the Lions. Good run by Napier. Gets
right
the ball
back to
again. And on what looked like was supposed to be an outside zone, he cuts it up, able to get the first down. Seems like this offensive line is blocking better for Napier here this second half, which is scary if you're the Muskies. You know that they can throw the ball, and now if they're getting the run game going, you have to divert some of your guys to that. We'll see and that's the mind game between offensive and defensive coordinators at play right there.
1st and 10 here for Mount St. Joseph. Still on their own side of the 50. There's Frazier in motion. Looking over to the middle. Caught, and he's brought down right away. That's Aston with the reception.
Yeah, just seemed like everyone kind of sat down 5 to 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. All the receivers from the Lions as we hit the end of the third quarter.
Through 3 quarters, it's 30-20. There's been a lot of back and forth. We'll meet you back here for the 4th quarter on the Muskie Sports Network, brought to you by Flo Sports. We are back for the 4th quarter of Muskingum University versus Mount St. Joseph. It's been a good game thus far, a little bit of back and forth, but a lot of the game controlled by Mount St. Joe after scoring that go-ahead touchdown. It's a handoff to Frazier. He's going to be brought down before the first down. A nice play in the backfield there, bringing up a 3rd and short.
And that's Thomas off the edge. Just as the Lions thought that they were getting that run game going, 2nd and 2, trying to get that first down and not bring to a 3rd down. Thomas is in the backfield, making a beautiful play.
Big 3rd down here. Muskies have 4 down defensive linemen. It's going to be a pass here on 3rd and short. He's looking to fire over the middle, and it's complete. Really good protection that time for the Mount St. Joseph offensive line.
Yeah, you saw the Muskies even brought four linemen instead of 3 on that one. As we see defensive tackle Kenny Page limping off the field, needing a sub, who's been stellar in the middle of that defensive line. We had great protection on that play. Great throw by Schreiber.
Mount St. Joseph able to draw the Muskies off sides. As you can see, Schreiber, he's a smart player. You know, he's talking to his center right now, telling him, hey, you should have snapped me the ball, got me that free play.
Exactly. Very high IQ, very aware quarterback. And again, like I said before, If you're watching him for the first time, you would not think that this is his first start collegiately. He is playing very, very well.
Now 1st and 5 for Mount St. Joseph. 3 wide receiver set, 1 to the left, 2 to the right. And this is a run for Frazier, nice cut. Looking to get that first down. I don't think he quite got there.
Napier, the ball carrier, stop on the play by number 44, Johnson.
And Napier's had a bit of a better second half here now, starting to open up the run. And they give it to him again. He's brought down, but he will get the first.
Yeah, Muskies get bodies to him in the backfield. He's able to bulldoze forward for 2 yards on that 2nd and short for a first down for the Lions. Looks like Mount St. Joseph is trying to slow the game down, drain some clock while they're driving down in Muskie territory.
You got to give some credit to Napier and that offensive line. They've really stepped it up with the run game here in the second half.
Absolutely, making plays that they weren't in the first.
And it's Napier again on the right. This time a gain of about 2. Good defense by the Muskies.
Yeah, a little sweep to the right, or stretch to the right. Gets that offensive line moving, but I think that's when those linebackers for the Muskies work the best, able to shoot those gaps.
We will take a timeout here for an injured player on the field. Hope everything's okay there. We'll be right back. That was Lee Burkett who went down. Earlier in the first half, we missed it, but Connor Gurney went down. He hasn't been back since. Lee Burkett was his backup, and he just went down
It looks like Tylen Rose is in, senior out of Union. Looks like he'll be taking the place of Lee Burkett right now.
Back to pass, and he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage. That's the big man in the middle, number 56, Kenny Page.
And multiple Muskies in the backfield on that one, creating a really long 3rd down here. Probably out of field goal range right now for the Lions. This is a big one.
Yeah, big time sack by Kenny Page, and man, he's had a heck of a night. Senior from Dayton, he went to Northridge High School. He's had a good 4 years here with Muskingum.
Yeah, not exactly sure what's going on right now. Maybe a ball spotting issue, but we can see on the bench, Malik Peakram's on the bench right now after having that interception. Was that last drive? He's on the bench. Looks like they've been rotating through cornerbacks in this second half, trying to figure out what works on defense right now.
In motion, a wide receiver. Now he's running a wheel, not open downfield. Schreiber just trying to make something happen. What a ball. Man, just when you think you have him, he finds a way to improvise. That's a really good throw there to LaFranche.
Yeah, great play by Schreiber to extend it and find the open man. But LaFranche, his awareness was amazing. He was in a pass set. He was blocking that whole time, able to release late, find that empty zone right over the linebackers' heads, and Schreiber was able to find him for the big first down.
Schreiber threw that exactly where he needed to as well. Just really good execution and improvisation there. Now another run that gains a couple yards for Napier.
Napier, the carrier, stop on a play by number 4.
Yeah, it seems like the Lions are starting to lean into this running game more this second half. A lot more positive yard rushes. It also drains the clock more, which is in their favor as they're still up 2 possessions, driving the Muskie territory. Feels like they've been here forever.
You said it. -4 rushing yards in the first half, like we said. Now taking 6 minutes off this clock on this drive. Now the pass to the corner of the end zone is caught, but I think he's out of bounds. I mean, a really good play there by Hunkus in the corner of the end zone. Almost had his third.
Yeah, Hunkus really going up to grab that ball. But the cornerback's able to carry him out of bounds so he can't get a foot in. Great throw as well, but just better defense on that play.
Now a really important third down. If you can hold them to a field goal, it's still a 2-possession game. But if they score a touchdown, this one's close to out of reach with 10 minutes to go. Three wide receiver set for St. Joseph. He's going to throw to the corner of the end zone again. This time it's incomplete. Really good coverage. They went for him again.
Yeah, and Hunkus looking for the flag there. I don't think there was enough there to cause the flag. And again, that's the Muskies avoiding the penalties that they might have had in the first half. Able to hold the Lions to a field goal attempt. They've been getting good pressure on these field goals and extra points.
Yeah,
looks like they've been getting close to blocking them. This is a huge one.
And the field goal is up and right through the middle for Mount St. Joseph, and that's a big one, extending it to a 2-touchdown lead. Still a chance, though, for Muskingum, forcing them to a field goal. Still a 2-possession game. If they get a touchdown here quick, get a stop, they're in business.
Yeah, Mount St. Joseph is happy with points, meaning the Muskies have to score 2 touchdowns. The Muskies are just happy to keep it within a 2-possession reach here.
We will be right back for the kickoff here on the Muskie Sports Network, brought to you by Flo Sports. We are back here for this last 10.5 minutes. We got Chris Singleton back there who just caught the touchdown, replacing J.C. Gore for the return. And it looks like the kicks was looking like it was going to go out of bounds, but it took a lucky bounce from Mount St. Joseph. Singleton just trying to come up with something there on his own boundary.
Yeah, seems like the Lions were trying to do a little pooch kick, landed in that empty space around the 15-20 yard line, able to get a lucky bounce so it doesn't go out of bounds. And the Muskies are back at almost their 20-yard line yet again.
Really nice job by Singleton, though. Those are really hard to come up with. He was able to get it to about the 20.
Yeah, able to pick that up off the ground, not bobble it, and get a couple yards after.
A lot of times kicks like that can end up, with really bad field position.
And we see Gore back on the field, just was absent for the kick return.
Now they're going with a screen pass here to Woody. Makes a move, but what a tackle there at the line of scrimmage. If it wasn't for that tackle, he might have gotten a good gain there.
Yeah, that's a great play by the Lion defense. The screen looked like it set up well, more blockers than defenders down there. Woody not able to cut it up behind the blockers before he was tackled. Unfortunately, just a gain of 2.
Really good play. Now it looks like Woody's coming out of the game. No, he's lining up here, just wide. Empty set here for Gurney. Looking right, looking left, now finding Gore. What a play over the center of the field. Able to come up with it there. Nice throw as well.
Yeah, Gore getting hit pretty hard, took his time getting up. Looks like he'll limp off the field yet again, but that was a beautiful play. Gore able to find space between the linebackers and safeties, and Gurney able to get it over those linebackers' heads but not hang it up there too long for a beautiful play to J.C. Gore.
Gurney drops back to throw again. Pressured. This time he just has to get rid of it. Good job by Gurney not taking a sack there.
Yeah, and that's backup defensive tackle Camden Fuller, big number 55, getting in there and shoving over Gurney, just powering his way through that offensive line.
Gurney has looked pretty sharp when they've been throwing the ball. Not the best completion percentage, but when given the opportunity, hasn't looked too bad today. It's going to be an RPO there. He's going to hand it off. Pick up about 2 or 3 there by Woody.
Yeah, and that play blown up by those defensive tackles. Camden Fuller in there again. Not a backup. Apologies. It's like the Muskies slowing down their pace, not getting into that tempo that seems to work for them.
You know, big third down here. 3rd and 8. Must convert third down here. Gurney looking left. He's going to throw it over here. Dropped by Woody, taking a big hit after the play.
And that's what's dangerous about throwing it to the running backs. Not as sure hands as wide receivers. Not used to getting hit while the ball is hitting your hands. That's a tough one. Great defensive play by the Lions.
Yeah, those plays are a lot harder to make than a lot of people think. Just a tough one to catch when you're taking that much contact and you know you're going to get hit as well.
Truly, and Woody got hit really hard. They're a little slow to get up, leading to a long 4th down for the Muskies again.
4th and 8 here. They got to have it.
No Gore on the field.
And there's going to be a flag.
Delay game, number 9 on the offense.
Looks like it's a delay of game here.
Yeah, and that's a penalty you don't like to see ever, especially on a long 4th down to make it even longer in a must-convert situation in the 4th quarter.
It'll be 4th and 14 now for the Muskies. See if they can come up with something big here with their backs against the wall. Just bringing 3. Gurney has plenty of time to throw. He's looking over the middle, and that's going to be picked off. That's number 7 running it back. And he makes a move now, still on his feet, and it looks like he's going to bring it back into the end zone. That's Brady Pierce, the senior linebacker, with a pick 6.
Wow, I mean, incredible job going up to get that ball and to make that play after. Little spin move, avoiding the tackles. You know, offensive players aren't always the best tacklers, but that was an amazing run back, able to cut it back up to the middle.
There is a flag.
Roughing the passer, number 44 on defense.
Muskie seemingly getting bailed out of that pick 6 on 4th down with a roughing the passer call. That could be a true game changer.
That is absolutely huge now for the Muskies. You go from throwing a pick 6, the game practically being over, to now having a 1st down and having a real chance here now with 8 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah, and they're in Mount St. Joseph territory. A side of the field they haven't really seen much in this second half. They're going to need to get going, only 8 minutes left. Coach Nardo all week has been talking about that tempo and pace. They've got to pick it up here.
J.C. Gore still out of the game. Looking deep. He's open, but underthrows him, and it's intercepted. And Mount St. Joe is going to fall at about the 1.
Yeah, Gurney throwing that one into double coverage. Not quite sure what he saw there. That was the cornerback Austin Adams, I believe, with that interception. The silver lining for the Muskies is he slipped and went down at about the 1 or 2 yard line. Maybe they can make something out of this with their defense and get a safety. but not what you want to see after getting bailed out right there.
Yeah, he did look like he could have possibly been open even with, two guys out there. He looked like he had some space, but just underthrown. Unfortunate there for the Muskies. Now Schreiber's going to snap it and hand it off to Napier, and he's going to be stonewalled at about the 2. They'll give him the forward progress, so no safety.
Yeah, just gets back to the line of scrimmage. Really great play by that defensive line to stonewall him and not let him get any forward yards.
Now I can imagine the Muskie defense is going to be a little more aggressive here, trying to get after the line of scrimmage.
You've got to be, and you can imagine the Lions thinking that their run game has improved in the second half. I think the Muskies want them to run it. In man coverage, looking like they might blitz here. Bring the linebackers, stuff him at the goal line.
Looks like they might have brought him down for a safety. Wow, they're spotting him outside of the goal line. I don't know about that one, Adam. That looked like it was a safety to me.
Yeah, we don't have the best angle here, but that looked like a safety. I did not see him get outside of the end zone. The referee's putting him at the 1-inch yard line. Big play here for the Muskie defense.
Man, a fortunate spot for Mount St. Joseph there. Not quite sure how they did that. They're going to throw it here on their own goal line. He's trying to break it out to the right side. He's got to get rid of it. He's in his own end zone, and he's going to be brought down. That's got to be intentional grounding. And if it is intentional grounding, that's a safety.
Oh, he got it past the line of scrimmage. He was out of the pocket. I don't think that'll be an intentional grounding, but what an amazing play by the Muskie defense, pinning him deep. There is not a lot of room to get this punt off, and we've seen already we've seen a really good and a really bad punt by this Lions punter, number 43, or 93, Jarrett Wilson, sorry.
He's now backed way up. Not a lot of room here for this snap to get it off. You got to imagine the Muskie's going to try to block it here. Snap is off. He's able to get it off, and it's a decent punt. Bounces at the 35. It's going to keep rolling out to about the 44-yard line. That's about as good as you can do when you're backed up like that.
And that's a good roll for the Lions. They landed at about the 35, 40-yard line. Could have been a lot worse for them, but Muskie's still in Mount St. Joseph territory when they take over on downs.
And Schreiber did a really good job there of getting rid of it at the end, not giving up that safety, because if you give up that safety, not only do we have good field position, but we have 2 extra points as well.
Yeah, the Muskies got bailed out on that 4th down with the roughing the passer, threw a pick the next play anyway. Amazing defensive stand, and now they're getting what seems like a 4th life here in this game.
Woody with the carry. Brought down close to the line of scrimmage, and it seems like Mount St. Joseph has really stepped up their run both on offense and defensively here in the second half.
Yeah, the run game has kind of flipped the script here in the second half from the first. The Muskies were able to run it in the first, and the Lions weren't. It's kind of flipped here in the second half, and the Muskies are kind of stunned at this. Gore back in the game at the bottom of the screen.
A little over 5.5 minutes to go here. The Muskies got to hurry right back to Gore, trying to make something happen. Just too many. Mount St. Joseph defenders, breaks away for a little bit, but he's brought down.
He is feeling it. He's taking a lot of hits. Broke about 3 or 4 tackles on that play for a gain of about 3 or 4.
Yeah, and he's obviously frustrated there on the sideline. First game as a Muskie, he just wants to be out there. You got to feel for him. Woody in motion. Gurney looking right, looks left. Pass complete. That's number 13 over there. It's Jeremy Smith making the grab for the Muskies.
Yeah, you could see Gore on the sideline. As a competitor, you want to be out there so bad, but it seems every time he gets hit, he's just getting banged up.
Another out route here. Jeremy Smith again, nice play. It's going to be brought down inbounds, though, so the clock will keep running. The Muskies got to hurry here.
But
They
these
did get the first down, so it'll stop momentarily for them to reset the chains.
These are the quick passes that Gurney needs to get off. Get that confidence up. Get the ball out of your hands quick and into the receiver's hands and keep moving.
Gurney looking deep. He's got a wide receiver open, and it looks like it's caught in the end zone, and the Muskies are back in business here with 4 minutes to go.
I think that was Cade Searles jumping up over the defender for that catch.
How about that play from Searles? Really good stuff. Nice throw, nice catch. And even though, J.C. Gore has been injured and not been able to play, a lot of these other wide receivers are really stepping up and making big plays. You saw Chris Singleton catch a long touchdown earlier. Now Searles here.
Yeah, they're really spreading the ball around, and that's what is that's the point of the spread offense. Everyone gets a piece of the pie as the kick is up and through. But, yeah, all these receivers have stepped up. We've seen Jeremy Smith get out there, Searles. Number 11, David Westrick, has had a couple catches.
It is now a 6-point game. 4 minutes to go. The Muskies have all 3 timeouts. Just need a 3 and out here, and they'll be in good shape. On the Muskie Sports Network, brought to you by Flo Sports. A touchdown drive by Muskingum brings them back into it here with 4 minutes to go. Mount St. Joseph up 6. The Muskies need a defensive stop to have a chance.
Yeah, the Muskies defense has been playing really great this fourth quarter, only holding the Lions to 3 points, and an out-of-bounds kick is not going to help.
Yeah, not what you want to see there, and it's a tough one for Ortega because he's been so good in this game.
Yeah, his kicks really have been spectacular. Now in college, they only get the ball at the 35-yard line for out-of-bounds kicks, not the 40. Saves the Muskies 5 yards of defense here, but better field position for Mount St. Joseph.
They're trying to figure out which hash mark to set the ball on. Mount St. Joseph's run has been better in the second half here. Napier's had a pretty good half.
And that's probably what they're going to rely on here, trying to drain the clock.
Just an inside zone here, and he's going to be stuffed at the line of scrimmage. It's exactly what you want to see if you're Muskingum.
Yeah, and it looked like Martavis Johnson was just sitting in the hole waiting for Napier to come through, and he stood him up. Amazing play for a gain of just about 3 yards.
And Johnson, we mentioned he's such a good player. Had a really good year last year leading the team in tackles.
Absolutely, and we haven't called his name too much today, but he's in on about every tackle. He goes where the ball goes.
Mount St. Joseph passing here, showing the confidence they have in Schraber. And they're going to complete it here almost at the first down. It'll be 3rd and short.
Yeah, that leaves the Lions with about a 2-yard third and 2 here. You'd think that they go to the run. Napier getting subbed off the field, it looks like. Interested to see what they do here. In comes number 5. They've got 5 receivers on the field.
It shows the faith they have in Schreiber. I know this is his first year starting, but he's a junior. He's been around the program for a while, showing a lot of faith. Going empty set here on the biggest play of the game. And that'll force Mount St. Joseph to a timeout. The Muskingum crowd is loud. Really good stuff from the 12th man here at Muskingum. That's a timeout for Mount St. Joseph. We'll be right back. A big third down upcoming here. The Muskies get a stop. They have a chance.
Looks like the Lions are coming out in the same formation. Empty set, 5 receivers, trying to take the linebackers out of the box, but they're staying in, just apex over a little bit. Looks like maybe man coverage from the DBs, and then linebackers sitting underneath, ready for a QB draw of sorts.
Tried to get him to jump off sides for a little bit there.
An orbit
now
motion.
In motion. And it's going to be a pass, and that's complete to who else? Eli Aston. Still 3 timeouts for the Muskies.
Yeah, Mr. Reliable there for the Lions. Schreiber's go-to guy. It's a good first down. Muskies take their first timeout right now with 2 minutes, 35 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and it's a tough one there. It's a nice play by Aston, just getting open again. Really, really aggressive call there, throwing in an empty set, but it paid off for Mount St. Joseph, and man, he's had a great game, Schreiber.
Yeah, been very clean since that. Well, I guess he threw that second interception as well, but he has been so poised back in the pocket, not letting the pressure get to him. That was a huge first down for the Lions, probably their biggest of the game. See if this Muskie defense can hold up in the last 2.5 minutes of this ball game, getting the ball back into their offense's hands.
Jackson Schreiber, 24 of 37 for 334 yards and 3 touchdowns. What a showing for his first collegiate start. And it's going to be a run here. That's Napier. He's going to gain a couple yards, but brought down with the gang tackling behind the line.
Yeah, it looks like we had a defensive lineman in the backfield early. It looked like Thomas maybe overran Napier, but Napier met by the linebackers there for a gain of 3, although he ended up 3 yards in the backfield by the end of the play.
So I like this from Coach Matt Nardo. He's all in on this stop here, calling his second timeout. You have that third timeout with the 2-minute warning. You have one more as well. If they can get a stop here and then get one more stop, they'll still have time to go down and score.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the drive and the time to do this on the drive. This defense has to hold up. I wouldn't be surprised if Mount St. Joseph goes back into the air on third down, assuming that it gets to third down after this play. Would not be surprised if they go back into the air, because that has been what's working for them.
And they've been trusting Schreiber. But what a game so far. The home opener here by the pond. It's a night game. It's been a great atmosphere here at the Bullock Health and Wellness Complex. It comes down to this final drive here by Mount St. Joseph.
The players hyping up the crowd, getting them loud. Cowbells ringing.
Empty set again here on second down. He's going to throw it. Bounces it out to his left. There's no one to go to, but he's going to take off, and he's going to be able to pick up the first down maybe. Looks like he might have been brought down right before it, but it's close.
I think he's short 1 yard. Very interesting call, an empty set on second down. Schreiber able to make a big play out of nothing there, falling a yard short for a 3rd and 1. As the Muskies use their final timeout of the second half.
And remember, they still have the 2-minute warning here. Big third down. I can imagine with how aggressive Mount St. Joseph has been, could see them going for it even if they don't get it here on this third down. We'll be right back here on the Muskie Sports Network. We are back here for the final 2 minutes and 15 seconds at the Bullock Health and Wellness Complex home opener for Muskingum. It's been really interesting to see Mount St. Joseph pass, because if you throw an incomplete pass, that's just like another timeout. It stops the clock.
Yeah, they were in empty set last time trying to pass it. Ended up running with Schreiber there in Wildcat right now. Napier.
He's just going to direct snap and run forward, and he has the first down.
Oh, his knee looked to be down earlier than I think those refs saw, but
Napier straight ahead.
I guess he got that 1 yard to move the chains.
Really tough break here for Muskingum, because now, if they do it the right way, they'll be able to kneel out the rest of the game. But man, a really tightly contested game, where they tried to get that stop on third down. They put themselves in position to come back. Really tough one here for the Muskies.
Yeah, looks like this one might be done. That was a tricky Wildcat formation there. Was that Aston in the backfield with Napier, I believe? Definitely gets the head spinning of this Muskie defense.
There's definitely still a lot of good things to pull from this game. A lot of things to learn. There were some really good things that we saw, especially in that second half. You saw Chris Singleton and Cade Searles stepping up big and having those touchdowns. A lot of good things to pull away from this contest.
Absolutely. It shows that the Muskies, they can spread the ball around and they have depth at that wide receiver position.
And they're going to run it here.
Met by Martavius Johnson right in the middle.
Stop on the play by number 44, Johnson.
I'm really surprised that they're not just taking a knee here. Mathematically, if you take a couple seconds each play, you should be able to kneel down the rest of the clock.
Yeah, they should be in victory formation right now. You don't want to risk a fumble. It looks like they might run a play again, unless he's kneeling it from shotgun.
Ball is snapped. It's going to be a flag, and that's big for the Muskies now.
Yeah, the clock stops. Hopefully that's a Lions penalty. Quite the opposite.
Oh, they're going to call offsides.
5 yards. Repeat third down. Second down. Repeat second down.
That's the safety Marcellus there.
Yeah, just trying to be aggressive there to stop the run.
Although I'm surprised they oh, never mind. Thought they declined it, but Chains moved ahead now for the down marker.
And it looks like they will be in victory formation here. Not sure why they didn't just do that from the start. The only thing I can think of is maybe they were just concerned that they wouldn't run enough time off during the play, because it does bring it right down to the final seconds. You got to be pretty precise with kneeling when there's 2 minutes left.
It does, but take 1 or 2 seconds each kneel and you'll get down by after the third one. But now they are definitely safe. 1 kneel away from victory for the Mount St. Joseph Lions.
There's still a lot to look forward to this year for Muskingum. Getting into OAC play here. J.C. Gore wasn't healthy throughout this game. You saw Connor Gurney go out pretty early in the first half. You hope he's okay. You hope he can come back. Just couldn't quite pull it all together if you're Muskingum. But we'll be right back here for the post-game show on the Muskie Sports Network, brought to you by Flo Sports. We are back here for the post-game show on the Muskie Sports Network, brought to you by Flo Sports. A really tough ending to a pretty tightly contested game that was controlled by Mount St. Joseph for a majority of it, but the Muskies never let down. They almost found their way back into the game at the end, just couldn't quite get the stop. They did make some good adjustments, ended up outscoring them 13-10 in the second half. They were 2 for 6 on fourth down, and some of those plays early ended up being the difference in the end. But how about Lee Burkett, coming off the bench for Connor Gurney, leading the team in tackles with 10. Gurney finishing with 236 yards and 2 touchdowns, 19 for 31. But most of that was in the second half. He really showed some spark through the air in the second half. Chris Singleton and Kate Searles both coming up with those touchdowns. They were big, brought the Muskies back into it. But Jackson Strider just ended up being too much for the Muskies, with Aston and Hunkus both having big days through the air. 24 of 37, 324 total yards, and 3 touchdowns for Strider. Adam, what do you think made the difference in this one?
I think it was the Muskie offense. They got off to such a hot start in that first quarter, being able to run the ball and throw the ball. Really great mix. They were up tempo, but the defense, the Mount St. Joseph defense, made adjustments. They figured it out after Muskingum got their second touchdown in that first half, and they were able to really slow them down. Now, the Muskies did put up another 13 in the second half. They did have some more bailouts. They had that roughing the passer call, but the Mount St. Joseph defense really stopped the run in the second half, which was huge for the Muskies in the first half. Gurney wasn't really able to run, thus all those passing yards. He did seem to be getting into a rhythm there in the second half passing, although he did throw that one interception that was quite unfortunate towards the end of the game. But still, being able to bring it back within a possession after being down 2 for most of the second half, props to the Muskies. Just a close, heartbreaking loss.
And they were able, even after giving up that touchdown at the end of the first half, they did a really good job of fighting back. A lot of times when you see a team give up a touchdown and then they have to kick it off, a lot of teams just kind of fold, but they didn't at all. And that speaks a lot to the new culture that Matt Nardo is bringing in. And maybe that'll end up, maybe they'll be able to win some OAC games now with that momentum and the things that you learned. At the end of this game, they played a really good second half, especially through the air. The defense picked it up and made it a little more difficult on Schreiber, forced them to run the ball a little bit. Just not quite enough time in this one to come back. They end up losing 33-27. And we'll be back next time here on the Muskie Sports Network, brought to you by Flo Sports.